Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to HEIR Stories. The message came in the middle of a quiet Tuesday afternoon. I was sitting at my desk reviewing a report when my phone buzzed once, the way it does when someone sends a text without expecting a conversation. My mother's name appeared on the screen. Mortgage is due. No greeting, no context, just those two words and the quiet assumption behind them. For a moment, I stared at the message, not confused, just aware of how familiar it felt. The tone wasn't demanding. It never was. It was something older than that. A habit built over years where certain problems simply drifted in my direction. My thumb hovered over the screen, but I didn't answer right away. Instead, my mind slipped back to the afternoon a month earlier, when we had all been sitting in my parents' living room for what my father called a family discussion about the future. The room had felt strangely formal that day. My brother leaned back comfortably on the couch, arms crossed, as if he'd already been told how the conversation would end. My father spoke with the calm certainty he always used when he believed something was obvious. "The house will go to your brother," he said, "the company too, and the investment accounts." He paused then, glancing at me as though waiting for approval rather than reaction. "Your brother deserves it." I remember noticing the way my brother nodded slightly, as if the statement simply confirmed what everyone already knew. No one asked what I thought, and strangely, I didn't argue, because the truth was I had spent most of my life watching that same pattern unfold in smaller ways. When we were kids, my brother was the one who needed encouragement. If he forgot assignments, teachers misunderstood him. If he broke something, it had been an accident. If he struggled, everyone adjusted around him. I had been the reliable one, the one who understood, the one who could handle it. Favoritism in our family had never looked cruel. It looked reasonable, practical, wrapped in the language of fairness. He needed more help. I needed less. Over time, I stopped questioning it. Instead, I moved away, first to another city for work, then further still. My career grew quietly, the kind of steady progress that doesn't make dramatic announcements. I built a life that didn't require permission or approval. But even with distance, certain expectations never changed. If paperwork confused my parents, they called me. If the business had a logistical issue, they asked for my advice. If my brother forgot something important, I was the one expected to smooth it over. That afternoon in the living room had simply been the final version of a very old story. Your brother deserves it. The words hadn't hurt as much as they clarified things. I had nodded, congratulated him politely, and left early. Now, 1 month later, my mother's message sat on my phone. Mortgage is due. The house they had given him, the house they had been so certain he would manage, apparently came with responsibilities no one had mentioned during that confident little meeting. I read the message again. Then I typed slowly, "Ask your heir." I pressed send before I could reconsider. The phone stayed quiet after that. No argument, no follow-up question, just silence that stretched through the rest of the afternoon. 3 days passed before I heard anything again, and even then it wasn't directly from my parents. A cousin called me about something unrelated and mentioned almost casually that my brother was having a rough start running the company. Apparently, the finances were more complicated than expected. Payroll schedules, vendor contracts. The mortgage on the house was connected to some of those accounts. Responsibility, it turned out, wasn't symbolic. It had numbers attached, deadlines, consequences. As my cousin talked, I felt something shift quietly inside me. Not satisfaction exactly, and not bitterness either, just recognition. For the first time, the problems in that house weren't drifting toward me by default. They were staying where they belonged. Later that evening, I walked home from work through the cool air, my phone silent in my pocket. No one had asked for my help again, and maybe they would eventually, but if they did, the answer would be different now. Not because I was angry, just because the roles had finally become clear. They had chosen their heir, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't expected to quietly fix the consequences.